Get down. Let me clear my throat. Yeah. Oh, that's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Since I'm always preaching on tracks, you feel me? I'm about to get paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be, baby. Informant, that information for me. Important, you get a portion of fortune pouring. Confession, fortunately, blessings on now they snoring. You mellow, so focus on scoring. Got your underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life pans. That game plan, show out like a jotter, pop out like a cutter. Telling the quick rock, skipping the culture squares like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes and my diddy boots ain't no stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. Yeah. If having hope is dangerous, call me evil Knievel. You leading on the wrong side, living with peasant needles. So lethal, made Shane Black wanna write a sequel. Cause I snuggle my dream till it's seen as illegal. And I still probably will, cause I can never give up. I got my goals calling me, how could I never pick up? Either we make up or just break up. And the snake hits get the rake up. Yeah, selfish, I'ma cake up. If I don't shake me to wake up. Let my depression catapult me to succession.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. Y'all know what it is. You know, we like to get it in a little bit on Thursdays before we start the show. Good evening, everyone. Welcome in. It's me, your girl, Lady Dawn B, on the most amazing night of the week. Every Thursday is fantastic. Y'all see, I'm having a bad hair day. It's raining up here where I'm at like crazy, but it is what it is. We here, no matter. It's all good, right? We made it through the week. We are at Thursday. I'm excited. How about you? It has been a rough week, y'all. My sister was sick. I was man down for a little while. But your girl is up today, getting better day by day. So welcome in, everyone, to Thursday night again with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome to the Bravo with Sheila Network. Here, we are not a Christian-based channel, although those who come on our panel and that are part of our crew are generally believers. But we want to let you know that we welcome all thoughts, feelings, opinions, and we respect whatever your religious beliefs or moral compass is. We invite you to share and engage in conversation with us tonight. Come on and light up the chat with your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. The only thing that we ask is that you do so respectfully. Respect is very major to us here. We don't play about that RESPECT in the chat nor on the panel. So should at any point disrespect be found or experienced or displayed, unfortunately, we will have to exit you from this particular broadcast. And who holds that down? We do have security. Is none other than the greatest moderator to ever do it in these YouTube streets, and she belongs to us, and we ain't giving her up. She is in the person of Ine. Kenya is in the building. Hi, beautiful. Thank you so much for always being here and being in place and loving on us. We don't know what we would do without you. We could not do what we do without you. So we thank you for being here with us on tonight, as always. And she holds that key to the box. So you might want to be nice, because she is not afraid to click that switch and you will find yourself outside of the program. But we don't want that to happen. So we're thankful that we have not had to have that experience. But we just want to touch on that again, because we are respectful here. We are major, very, very serious about respecting one another and one another's thoughts, feelings, and opinions. So we appreciate you all coming in tonight for another Thursday night of great conversation. I'm excited about tonight because tonight is a ladies panel. We coming in to have some girl chat, and we want to invite you into the conversation. Fellas, you are not excluded. We want you to lean in and be in the room. Maybe, come on in and learn something. Come on in and chat with us. And one of our Thursday night squad members, one of our male crew, he's in the back. He's going to be tuning in, and we're going to bring him up toward towards the end, or maybe even in between. Maybe he has something hot that he needs to say, share from a male perspective. So it's a little different from the ladies' room as we usually have, but tonight we just having girl chat. So we want to talk about a few things, maybe introduce some ideas to everyone. Again, we are not here to convict nor to convince, but we are here to have open conversation, free dialogue with one another, because we want to learn and glean from each other so that we can show up better in our spaces, right? So tonight, I'm trying to think before I bring up my ladies. Tonight, we want to, before I bring our ladies up, I also want to say, please hit that thumbs up button. That little, just real quick. It's free 99 to you, but it means everything to us. If you would, please, ma'am, please, sir, we appreciate it. We thank you in advance for doing so, because that helps us to get our information. It helps us to get these great conversations further out into these YouTube streets. And so we'd appreciate your support in that manner. Also, please subscribe to the channel, because you don't want to miss any of the great conversations, the great broadcasts that go on the Bravo with Sheila Network. On Monday nights at 7 p.m., we have Mondays Beyond the Mic with Dr. Elaine and me, your girl, Lady Dawn B, co-hosting, where we have a lot of relationship talk. I promise you, I learned something new every week. And over there, my favorite word to say is that I am reformed. There's some things I'm finding out the areas that I'm reformed, that I no longer do. Some things I'm still reforming. I'm a work in progress. So y'all pray for me, okay? But on tonight, on Thursday nights, it's a whole different ball game. Thursday nights, we keep it real. We keep it raw. We keep it a buck and then some with no change. We leave it all on the table. So tonight, we're coming to have, again, great, authentic conversation. Ladies, we having some girl chat. Fellas, lean in the chat, chime in, share your thoughts, feelings. The chat is open. If you haven't said hello, please do so that we can greet you. And again, please hit that like button if you don't mind. Please, ma'am, please, sir. And those of you who are up in the silent section in the expensive seats, I see you. We see you. We know you there. We love you. I promise you, it is safe to come on down to the chat and hang out with us. We got security. You all good. Don't worry. You rolling with me. Nobody gonna hurt you down here. So on tonight, let's see who we got. My girl, and oh, thank you. And then you like my lavender? I was feeling a little purplish today, trying to, it's been a rainy day. Y'all don't pay me no mind. I'm be messing with my hair for a little bit tonight because it's crazy. So we welcome you in the building. Oh, hold on, my brethren's in the building. My favorite Jamaican Canadian, my brother, who is no stranger, but he is family to the Bravo Sheila Network, Mr. Gregory Bloomfield. See, I'm so excited. I'm stumbling over his name. Me brethren, Gregory Bloomfield is in the building. He is an author and he does everything, as well as he has his own podcast. So join him on Monday. He has motivational moments with Gregory Bloomfield. So you can find him on YouTube and go like and subscribe and share. And we support him as well. Welcome in, bro. It is good to see you. I'm glad you are here. I know he came here especially, I'm sure, because he's lent and I borrowed probably the most prized possession he has at this point in his life. And I'm so grateful that, she's over here with me tonight, celebrate. We over here. So I'm going to take full advantage of the time that I have with her. She is one of the sweetest. Okay. He is in just security, as you should be, sir. Can't nobody protect her better than you can. Come on, somebody. Let it be known. Lady Z does not travel alone, y'all. She is covered. My brother said he got her. That's right. We have his wife, my sister. I'm going to leave that up till she comes up here. Lady Zinja Bloomfield is in the house. She is an author. She is a mom. She is a grandmother. She is so many things. I'm going to let her introduce herself. So y'all welcome her. And she is and he's on ministry duty. He said, and in armor bearer. Hiya. Okay, God. Come on with a Shondo then. security, and armor bearing. So y'all help me welcome up on tonight. She's no stranger. She's been here before. She's family. My sis, Lady Zinja, welcome in the building. How are you, sis?
Hello. I'm great.
Hey, how are you? I'm wonderful. I'm excited, and I'm so glad everybody is here tonight.
I'm glad to be here.
It's good to see you. So tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So I am a let me say wife first. Wife, mother, veteran, military veteran, educator, mentor, author, and just a lover of life and of people. Get my latest book if you haven't, my Rooted in Boldness. There is a workbook that goes with it now.
Oh, come on.
So Rooted in Boldness, your imperfections are not barriers.
I have mine. I got to get a workbook, but I have mine, y'all. See, I got mine. Y'all think I'm playing? I got mine. So we're going to make sure that she shares how you can get her books at the end. And I think everybody up here tonight, pretty much almost everybody is an author or an author in the making. So welcome in, Lady Zinja. It's always good to have my sis with me. And next up, this young lady, she is a new face, but she will, I believe, I'm getting the vibe she's going to become a permanent piece of some part of this. I don't know yet where to fit her. She's my little sis. I love her. She was on last week. She was sharing her book, and she has had some dynamic accomplishments officially come through in that time. And I'm gonna let her tell you about a little bit about herself. She is every woman. It is in her, and she is doing the daggone thing. All right, so y'all give it up for my little sis. That's right. Come on, Lady Kina. Welcome back. Good to see you, sis. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Zenja. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Hi, my beautiful sisters and friends. So my name is Kina. Of course, some of you guys were here last week. I am founder and CEO of Simply KE. I'm actually designing the card. Elevate Your Knowledge. I am an accountant and a financial advisor by trade and degree. I do taxes and all that good stuff. If it's money, it's me. Startups, LLCs, explain how to do a trust, irrevocable trust. Also, I am the founder of Purple Book Club. It is a legacy for my daughter's book. I am an author. I have my second book coming out next month. If I am back before then, next month is tomorrow. I just talked to the printer. They're printing the book. And so be purple, be royal, and live life. I do love to write. I am a writer by nature. I am a mother, even though my daughter is in heaven. I am a mother. I am a CEO and a business owner. And also I am a part of the Worldwide Women Associations. I am a trustee of the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm a part of the National Chamber, as well as I am a certified grief life coach and a Christian counselor. So, surprise, Lady Dawn. Surprise. I told you I'd come back with the shebang.
You did. You
What
did.
don't you do, Kina? What don't you do?
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? I tell you, she is every woman. It is all in her. Okay.
I can fly. Now, if I could fly, it'd be a good day. But
not yet. But I feel like I feel like you're on your way. You're gonna figure it out and make it happen. So
I do hair. I cook.
Listen. We're gonna just have a introduction to Kina's show, because otherwise a night, but she is every woman. It is all in her, and I love to hear all of the amazing accomplishments and things that make her. And I'm so glad she is here and a part of our team. And now this next young lady I'm gonna bring up to the platform. This is why I'm so excited tonight, because I got my sisters in the building with me. And before I bring her up, I want to just check in the comment section and welcome in Patsy. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm not thinking maybe your first time here, but welcome in, and thank you for
my mother-in-law.
Hi, Mom. Okay, hi, Mama. It's good to see. I'm your daughter that you didn't give birth to, but your son is my brethren, and so you're my mama too. So I'm just saying, I'm a Bloomfield. I'm just her. Don't worry about it. Love you. It's good to see you. So good evening to all. Very, very lively. Welcome in, Mama. Welcome in. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. See, now that's support. That's what I'm talking about, y'all. All right. So now this next lady that I'm going to bring up is another one of my dear little sisters. These women are close to my heart. Really are. I really can't thank God for them any more than I already do. And I mean that honestly. They are women who I have met. Some are met who I've met through social media, and some I know personally in life. Some of us who have not been able to be in the same room yet, and notice I say yet, but in heart, God knows what He's doing. And like I said, although we are not a Christian-based channel, y'all already know I'm a God's girl, so you're gonna get a lot of Jesus when you get me, because that's my moral compass. So whatever yours is, that's what you use. But for me, I'm grateful to God for these women because they've helped to build a sisterhood with me across the miles and across the social media that could not be any more real and tangible than if we were all in the same space. So I love you, love you, love you. And as I continue tonight, see, I'm so excited. Next up, I have my little sis. She's another firecracker. She reminds me, like, I'm a little nervous about her and Keena because, you know, their energy is, you know, I don't know, y'all are the same. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of fire up here tonight. The ladies are excited. We're ready to go. But she is none other than my little sis, Lady Paris, is in the building. You usually see her in the chat, but I was able to get her to come up tonight. Hey, sis, how are you?
Good evening. Good evening. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello.
Yes, I'm such affluent women. It's beautiful to see.
Well, you are amongst that. So tell everybody a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do.
Oh, I am not an accomplished author. I've started books, but I have not finished them, and I'm okay with that. But I do love to write. I love poetry. I love education, and I'm always trying to learn. I work in hematology and oncology, and I love working there mostly because I'm able to minister. So that's who I am. Nice to meet you, ladies.
You
All
too,
right.
Paris.
Well, welcome in. I tell you now, said everybody up here is an author or on their way to being, because Paris is she's gonna be before it's all said and done. It is what it is. We're gonna help her get there. And
All right, thank
last,
you, ma'am.
We will.
see, you said it now. I got you, sis. Um, Last but not least at all, y'all know her. You love her. You know what? She really don't need no introduction. She's that chick. You know what I'm saying? She's her. And she brings the noise and brings the funk. And sometimes it's just been me and her up here, and we go at it and have a time. I don't know if the world is really ready for our combination. She and I locked in on one of our first book projects, and we've been sisters at heart and spirit and in every other way since then. And she's just fire all by herself, like the other lady. But she is in the person of, y'all know her and you love her. You haven't seen her in, I think, maybe a week, but she's back tonight. You know it. That's right. Give it up for Coach Theo is in the building. Hey, sis.
Sis. Hello, ladies. I'm honored to share the screen with all of you ladies. It's a pleasure.
So come on in. I mean, we know who you are, but some people may not be familiar with the dynamics of the Coach Theo. So tell the people a little bit about yourself before we jump into this conversation.
So I'm an HR professional with over 30 years of experience in HR. I am the CEO and founder of T. Carter Coaching and Consulting. I'm an intentional living coach, a career coach, an HR consultant. I'm a mentor. I am an author, and yeah, and I love our life, like Lady Senja said, like just trying to live out these days. Thankful to God for every day that I wake up.
All right. Okay. So as you see, everyone, we have the best part of God's best on this side of heaven up here on this panel tonight. And these ladies we're gonna talk and we're gonna share. We just came to have some girl talk to keep it really real. As you see, as professional as we all are in our rightful places, I do want to say it's not one voice, one sound. We are not here to convict nor convince. We're here to have conversation. Again, we respect everybody's thoughts, feelings, and opinions. We hope that you will engage with us in the chat and share your thoughts and your feelings. Everyone's opinion or everyone's share is based on our experiences and where we are coming from. This is not counseling. It's not therapy. Although if you need counseling and therapy, we do have licensed professional, clinical licensed professionals who can help you. And we will gladly direct you to them on the Bravo Nation staff, as well as these ladies have shared who they are and what they do. And before the show is over, we will let them share with you how you can get in touch with them if you would like to, how you can follow them and all of that. And again, we are authors. And I do want to say before the night is over, I am going to give away one of, I don't know how we're going to do it, but I want to give away a copy of one of my books. And if any of you ladies want to follow behind, we can definitely do that. You have space to do so, but I want to share, just give away someone a copy of one of the books I co-authored called The Courage to Win. It is a book about overcoming how you get from a losing position to a winning position and conquer the things that get in your way. It was a stretch when I was partaking in that. I wanted to quit about 92,000 times. But even in accomplishing that, I had to find the courage to win. So it's all about encouragement. But I just feel like today, I just want to end July just giving somebody something. So we're going to give away one of those books on tonight. And again, if any of you ladies want to join in, we can do so at the end and share that. And we'll figure out how we're going to make that happen. But let's welcome in my Monday night host. I'm her co-host. Dr. E is in the house. Elaine Sanders says, good evening, ladies. I appreciate you being in the building, Dr. E. I'm waiting for her. I know she's gonna lend some good commentary to these conversations. So on tonight, I want us to get started in our girlfriends chat. And again, I thank you ladies for coming on. And we just gonna talk tonight. One of the things in the promo that I put out for tonight for girls chat, for our ladies panel, is just the thought of can we really as women have what we want without giving up something? Is it possible for us to really have everything that we want without giving up something? And while we know, again, it's not one voice, one sound, everyone's thoughts, feeling, and opinions and perspective is different. But I think hold on a second, because we have the curator. I am remiss, because normally, I don't know, I see y'all got me so excited, I done fell off my normal. Okay, because every Thursday night I got to pay homage to this great queen. She is my Auntie Bravo. She is in the person of Pastor Sheila Ingram, who is the curator of this space. And I am always so grateful for her yielding this captain's chair to me so that I can share this time with you and bring great conversation and community to us all. So blessings and love to you, Auntie Bravo. She's in the building. She says blessings to the panel and chat. We welcome her in. And while we're talking about chat, if you are enjoying this show or at whatever time this conversation is hitting home, I'm going to ask you, we do can support us through using super chats. We thankfully are monetized, yay, which is an amazing accomplishment. And so we're proud of that. But feel free. We love super chats. And what we will do is we will stop the conversation and we will read your comment first because we want to say thank you. So don't be shy. Feel free. You are welcome. It's free space here. Now, ladies, we were getting into it a little bit before the show started. So I want to make sure we still where we at. Now, we're going to come with all the energy and with all of we holding our places steady tonight. So I want us to think about that thought. Can we have everything we want without giving something up? Now, I have some questions that I want to pose to us ladies. And I think what I'm going to do is tell you to pick a number within a certain range. And I'm going to read that question to you. And so you'll be the first one to answer it. Okay. And then everybody else can chime in after, just so we have a little order as well. But before we do that, I do want to go around the panel and give each one of us about 2 minutes to just share your thoughts on the thought in the promo that we talked about. Can we as women have everything we want without giving anything up? So I'm going to start with Lady Theo. So you have the floor is yours.
I'm going to speak for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had to get, first of all, I had to get intentional and clear on what it was that I wanted. All right. And so there did come a time where I was like, okay, I'm a HR executive, right? I'm a entrepreneur, right? Trying to have a social life, and all of that other stuff. And so I will honestly say for me, I had to really get clear on what it was that I wanted, right? What the vision for the next phase and season of my life was, especially when I relocated to Charlotte. And I will honestly say, I made the conscious decision to leave my executive role and go into an individual contributor role so that I could focus more on my business, growing my business, right? And living a life of peace, right? And just enjoying more time with family, right? And friends, etc. So I do believe you can have what it is that you want, but I think you have to get clear on what that looks like, what it is, and then you have to be intentional about how you're going to achieve that.
Okay. Get clarity on what you want. And again, it's not this is not one voice, one sound. And we're not just talking about it in the sense of relationship. I know typically we go to our instinct goes to that male perspective as far as in order to get the man I want, I have to give up certain things I want. But just in life and in general, because the truth is not everybody wants marriage, not everybody wants long-term relationships. Some people just want company for today, tonight, for an hour, whatever that is. But we know that that's a part of it. But and again, I love what you said, Theo, about getting clarity on what you want, because I know that was one thing that I had to do. But I just wanted to throw that out there so that we understand it is not just about the relationship, but just in life. Like, can we have what we want without giving something up? Because sometimes I think we as women, we have this premise of everything is attached to a man, but yet we are very strong about being independent women, being detached from men and doing it ourselves. So, I want us to keep that in mind. It's that kind of night, y'all. So next I'll go to Lady Z. Come on, ladies, and just tell us your thoughts and feelings on this.
So I say we are always giving up something. I don't believe everything is, well, it's necessarily to our detriment. One of the things that is valuable to me is my time. And so sometimes you have to give up time to help other people, to do other things. So I feel like we're always at some point giving up something, but at the same time, you're getting something in return. So.
Okay. So for you, it's time is one of the major things that you have to consider in getting what you want. It's time. So Theo said, consider what you want, and then just says time. All right, come on, Firecracker. Come on, Keena. Tell us your thoughts on this.
So I'm gonna give you guys twofold answers. Let me talk about, because I know some people are like, I want to know about the relationship aspect, but let me talk about the personal aspect because this is my personal life. So, yes, you would have to, if we're going to talk about in general forms, yes, you would have to sacrifice some things like you're going to have to give up your comfort zone, your outdated mindset, people pleasing, fear of being seen in your timelines in your head. You would have to give up those things to get what you want. In order for me to scale my business, I had to give up my phone, literally a lot of friendships I had to give up. I had to lose those friendships, drop those friends, especially the ones that had dead mindsets. So yes, if we're gonna talk about in general terms, if we're trying to be a multimillionaire or a business person or going to school, sometimes you have to quit a job, go part time. Those things in personal life, yes. As far as relationship goes, no. You do not have to change who you are, what you are to get what you want. As long as you're healthy and you're growing and you're evolving in life. If you are a healthy person and you're not dealing with toxic people, and you're not toxic yourself, and you're full blown healed, you're automatically gonna be magnetic to the man that you want, that person or the woman that you want. If you're unhealed, of course, you're going to make that change and switch. But if you are fully healed, you do not need to change who you are. The moment you start having to change or shrink yourself, you've now become in a performative stage, and you're being and you're shrinking. You're not really being who you are. Now you're being fake. You're not being really you. But if you're truly healed, you truly evolved, your mindset is where it needs to be, you're going to automatically get the man or the woman that you want. And you pretty much you're not going to have to change anything. And I've actually experienced that for myself.
Okay. So on the life side, she says, yes, there are some things you have to change and adjust in order to get the things that you want and make happen. But on the relationship side, Kina says, no. You, as long as you're healed, that's conditional. Make sure that you're healed and you are whole. There's nothing that you need to change or adjust in order to get the person that you want. Love it, respect it. And my sis lady Paris, come on and give us your thoughts.
Well, I feel like I'm in my process at this particular moment. And I would say balance is what I'm aiming for. I need to figure out work life balance. My focus at the moment isn't about relationships, but if one comes along that can coincide where God is taking me, then that's wonderful. I do feel that you do need to be adaptable and be able to navigate what God wants for you first. I always take things spiritually first. So I don't necessarily agree that I don't need to change, because I want to grow in God and I want to grow with my mate. So therefore, I think that automatically requires change.
Okay. All right. So Paris says balance and adaptability. She's looking for balance and being adaptable. And when you do find your mate, there may be some adjustments that have to be made. So I know someone's voice has resonated with our audience on tonight so far. And, ladies, be free. I want to welcome in everyone who has come in so far. We know we have free flowing conversation. I've been going all month or most of the year, half year, with no notes, just letting the conversations develop on their own, because I want us to have real organic space, to really share and be transparent and be truthful, because a lot of things, well, y'all know me, I say what's on my mind most of the time, 99.99% of the time, because until we really speak honestly about how we feel and what we're thinking, we will never really get fully healed and be made whole. We keep healing on different levels going down, but we really don't get to the root of things. So for me, in thinking of this, do we have to give up something in order to get what we want? I do believe that there are things that we have to give up in order to get what we want, both personally and in relationships. And I don't think that it takes away. I think it works is most effective when we are whole, as Kina said, and when we are healed. But me being whole and healed doesn't mean that by me giving something up, that I'm losing part of myself, or I'm giving part of myself away, or I'm denying part of myself. For me, I am at a point where I understand there has to become an exchange, and it's a consideration of, is this still serving me in my new space? Is what I've been doing and is what I am doing serving me in my new space? I have to make room, and there has to be a capacity. Sometimes you don't know how big of a glass you need until you see, the well you're about to draw from, unless you're only going to the well saying, I only want 8 ounces of water. So if we already set a cap, I feel, or put a wall onto what we need, then that's fine. But if you want to have more room for growth and expansion, for me, it's a matter of considering, again, is what I'm doing serving me, and is what I have occupying, is it still meeting the need? So I think we have to consider those things as we go along, and again, everyone's feelings, thoughts, opinions, and their shares are awesome and amazing. And you ladies are making me think of things differently, and again, referring back to Keena's, statement, I think one of the main keys is healing and wholeness in all things. Because when we go looking for things outside of being healed and whole, we are looking for things that are going to band-aid, that are going to pacify, and that are going to be temporal, because we want whatever is missing to be filled, or we want whatever is hurting us to stop. But once the pain stops, do you still need that band-aid? You ladies can jump in at any time if there's anything else you want to share before we move on.
I just wanted to clarify my statement about changing for a relationship. That's why I said when you're healed and whole,
Mm-hmm.
because as a healed and whole person, you've already made those changes and adjustments. All you're doing is you're looking for that piece of your puzzle. That's what I'm saying. If you're having to change who you are, or make or basically not change but shrink yourself, meaning that being performative. As women, we're not supposed to be striving, we're not supposed to be chasing, we're not supposed to be begging, we're not the pursuers. So if you're a whole healed woman, you automatically know you're not going to be with a man with drama. Just like a man, when you're healed, you're whole, your mindset is clear. You're not, there's certain things you're not going to put up with. You're not going to put up with a woman screaming and yelling. And if I'm a healed whole woman, I should be able to have an adult conversation with a man. So that's what I mean by changing, and giving up things. You may, now when I think about giving up things, I'm like, let's say we're going to get married and we're moving into the same home. Yes, those are tangible movements, but I'm saying in your physical and spiritual sense, if you are truly, I'm talking about truly healed, now I know there's no 100% because we're not perfect, but if you have literally put in that work, by the time you're looking for that relationship, because we shouldn't be getting in a relationship if we're not healed. Let's just have that honest conversation. If you're broken, but people
Right.
do it. But if you're truly healed, by the time you're meeting that person and that person's meeting you, and you're having that true prayer life, or you're having your affirmations, you're meditating, you're speaking to whoever your God is, your Lord and Savior is, whoever you choose. It could be Buddha, it could be Confucius, or if you don't believe in a God. If you're really looking within yourself, you should be like, okay, this is the type of individual that I want, and this is what will work for me. And if you're not in that place, you're gonna struggle in the relationship. That man will and you will. Just vice
Mhm.
versa. The guy, if you're a man, you're gonna struggle in that relationship, and now you're shrinking, you're performing, you're striving, you're chasing, you're begging, and you're dimming your voice, you're downplaying your version. That's when I feel like you're giving up for a relationship, and that's just my truth, you guys. And of course,
Mhm.
everybody's not gonna agree with me, which is fine, but that's when you're giving up who you are, because you're now settling. And I don't believe you should have to settle. I believe you should have what you want, and you will automatically, I promise you, pull the type of people, the type of man or the woman you want. Because if you really did the work, your toxic friends are gone. You're no longer being with friends who drama, talk about people, are always in a fight, cursing, or whatever your situation may be. You're not going to be around that, and you're going to be in circles of people who have positive mindsets. So you're going to be automatically with the person you're going to be. Like I said, you may have to make tangible changes, moving, going on a date, maybe paying for the date, making some compromise things to make the relationship fit, but changing yourself, no, I do not agree with that. As we grow, of course, and go into an age group, I do believe that you evolve, but changing, no, I don't think so.
And Sin,
Okay.
I believe that it's one thing to say and to believe that we are whole and we are healed, but you don't know until you're in a relationship, and then something you had to deal with in the past comes up, and then how do you respond to that then? And when you're in relationships and when you're dealing with people, you have to make adjustments. Some people, you might be the loud person in a relationship, or even when it comes to dealing with your friends or people, but people don't always respond to that. So, you may have to adjust your personality. I'm not saying not become somebody else. But when you're speaking with people, certain things you'll have to learn to change to accommodate the other person, just like you want the other person to accommodate you. So it just up, and as you get older, it changes. Relationships, it changes. I say just stay adjustable, flexible. The one thing that is going to stay the same or change is constant. So change is constant.
Yeah.
The word
And I
that
love,
comes to mind is adaptable to
say
your
it again.
environment. You need to become adaptable to your environment. Sometimes you need to be quiet and still.
Yes.
It doesn't always. Sometimes you do need to be vociferous. I can't get it out, but yes, you need to be that. So I think it depends on the situation, and it's whether it's in a relationship or if you are just dealing at work. You need to figure a balance. There's times where you might see yourself hurting someone because with your mouth, and it doesn't even have
Right.
to be physically with your mouth. But then God again, bring God into it. He's like, be still, be quiet, hold your peace, and let me deal with this. The old you would not have done that. So things to think about.
I learned that one for sure.
So
Go ahead.
that's where that healing piece comes in. That's what I'm saying. So if you're healed and you're in a relationship with someone and you know they don't like something or you're triggered by something like me, of course, you guys know, if you guys don't know, I lost my daughter. So that's something I may talk about. Something like that may trigger me or do something to upset me. But I'm saying changing who you are as a individual, like your personality is your personality. Yes, you may have to shift for your partner, but what I'm trying to say is you shouldn't have to dim yourself down. That's what I'm saying. So if something emotionally is bothering you, you should be able to have that conversation just like them.
Right.
That's what I mean. You shouldn't have to, but I'm talking about completely change yourself, completely become a whole nother person. That's performative and striving. I think we're all saying the same thing, and I know we're saying adapting. I guess it's adapting and changing based on the individual, but I'm saying you're gonna automatically attract the type of man you want. And I know Zendra, you're married. I don't know if anybody else is married. There are things, but you got the man that you wanted because you were in a good place. Once you guys got married, of course, there were things that happened. I'm saying to get that person, yes. But once you get in a relationship, of course, things are going to happen. In the relationship, there's going to be shifting. Life happens, death happens, children get born.
Right.
If you're in a blended relationship, but I'm talking about to get the person, you shouldn't have to change yourself to get that person. You're performing at that point. You're not who you really are as an individual. They should love you for who you are. But as you guys are getting to know each other, there are going to be shifts. That's what I'm trying to say. When you're
Right.
coming to, you should
So,
be you. I guess
No, no,
that's
you
what I'm trying to
so
say.
I'm gonna put a twist on
wait.
this.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Let me just interject real quick for 1 second. Um, no, we totally understand. And like I said, we're all saying it from different perspectives, and that's fine, and that's good, because everybody's voice resonates differently and everybody's language is different. So everybody will glean differently. But we all saying the same thing. And I love what you said, the point of, generally just not shrinking yourself, not being less than who you are just to fit into someone else's it's someone else's mold, because we've all done that at some point in life, and we have some good we have some questions in the chat that I do want to get to after Theo. Eric says, say that again, Keena, and he's clapping. But we should not have to, shrink ourselves, but we all have done that because sometimes we suffer, and I know at some point, and I feel comfortable in saying that we've all experienced that I'm not enough syndrome. So we've made ourselves adjustable and accommodating to other people to think that this is the person that we want, but it's not always what we need. So it's a difference in when we're doing something for what we want and what we need. But no, you've made an absolute great point, and I think we're all just adding on to what you're saying, in different perspectives. Again, there's no right and wrong. We're all speaking just from that space. But for those who may not have understood, I'm glad you did clarify. Excuse me, even further. So, Theo, go ahead and make your point. Then I want to
I'm gonna go from another angle, because I will tell you, my healing journey came from the point of I was settling, right? I was receiving or accepting less than I should have. But also I have always, and there's probably a clinical term for it, always struggled with functional depression, right? So I was always that person that everything was good. You ask me how I'm doing, I'm good. You ask me how's everything going, I'm good, right? And so at the point that my healing journey began, it was at a point where I said to myself, I need to heal differently. I wanted to heal responsibly. I wanted the healing journey to be about me, right? And I remember the day I got up and sat on my bed, I had went from a place of functional depression to I was in a depression, right? I was just kind of moving through the motions, right? And I remember getting up and hearing God say, you could stay in this space or you could choose to heal, right? And that is, and I said to one of my friends, I said, you know, I'm going to go back to therapy. I need to figure out what's wrong with me. And she was like, nothing's wrong with you. You're such a good. And I was like, no, I need to figure out why I keep making the same choices, why I keep ending up in the same situation, in the same spaces. And I remember at the point that I went back to therapy, I went back with a mindset that this is about me, right? It wasn't about what happened to me. It wasn't about, you know, who did what to me. Yes, I acknowledge that, but it was really about me figuring out, who are you, Theodora? Why are you not living in the space that God created you to live? Right? My name means gift from God. I was not walking around and acting like I'm a gift from God, right? And so I needed to figure out why I was settling, why I was choosing, you know, stuff that was less than I deserved. And so I will say that, you know, I do agree that you do have to be, because there was some flexibility. I had to be adaptable. I had to be flexible. I had to be flexible with myself, because I also had to learn how to trust myself again.
Right.
Right. And so I think those are all things that we need to, and the other thing I believe is that we're always healing from something.
Yes.
Right. Like
That
we are
is true.
all healing from something. And so, and how you heal from whatever it is you're going through is going to be different, right, each time. But I think because for me, I stay in therapy, and now therapy is for me a preventative, right? Preventative thing, right?
Right.
But it also helps me, you know, be aware of the things that trigger me, how to manage them, how to handle them, how to cope with them, how to go through them, right? I will share this briefly, right? I lost my dad in 2016. I walked into his apartment with my aunt and found him, right? So for me, any type of sudden death that I hear of is a trigger, right? So I have had to learn how to manage that, right? And not like go back into this, because I can tell you to this day, 9 years later, everything that happened from the point that I opened that door to the point that I left the room, to the cops, like every conversation that was had, right? And so I do think that we have to be mindful of, you know, how we navigate our healing journey.
Okay. So, and I don't think that, thank you for that and for those shares. Because it is important, and it lends to, again, this thought, this topic, and this conversation is so much more than surface. There are layers to all of this when you start thinking about, can I have everything that I want? Yes, you can, you know, but without giving up something. You know, there's always going to be an exchange that we have to make, you know, while at the same time, you know, and I'm sorry, Keena, your comment just resonates with me in a positive way. And I don't want you to think, because I keep going back there, that it's not a negative thing. It's that it's like a sweet spot that we really have to kind of dig into, because people have different mindsets and are not always, you know, understanding why we're making choices from specific places, because dysfunction is our norm. And when something is normal to you, it's no longer dysfunctional. It's how you operate. So knowing that, like you said, you don't have to shrink yourself to get the person that you want or anything that you want. You should not have to, but we suffer from that. I think sometimes, and that happens because we all suffer from the I'm not enough syndrome. And as women, we pick ourselves apart so much. We replay things in our head, and chat, y'all chime in and tell us your thoughts and feelings as well. We want to hear from you. We do have some questions from Gregory I'm going to get to in a second, but it's like we have to get to a place, and I want us as women to really we don't do surface here on this side. We go deep. We try to but I would love for us as women to learn how to unlearn that I'm not enough syndrome. I may not be enough for this person, but it doesn't mean that I'm not enough.
Correct.
Maybe I'm too much for this person. They don't want to admit that I'm too much for them. So we flip it and make the person feel like it's you, it's not me, and it causes us to get into this tailspin of I can't have this so now that's, I think, where that shrinking comes in, because I've done it. And I've had to really think about what made me decide to be less than who I am, to fit into this one person's pocket who, when I thought about it, like, this person doesn't even have anything. This person has
don't do that. Don't do it.
This is true. This is true. Transparent.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm with you. Like, we've all been guilty of it. And I'm like looking back at my list of the guys I dated, and I'm like, bro, you didn't even have a car.
First of all, and it's not even, when I think about it, beyond the material possessions. And I mean, and you're right. You don't got a car. You living in your mama's house. You got 3 baby kids. And here I am basing my worth and my value on you making me feel like I'm not enough, when not just the materialistic things, but the person and the quality of life and my value. Like, what happened? Where was my breach that made me let somebody else's voice be louder than my own and made me question my worth? So, when I'm saying, do I have to give up? Can I have everything I want without giving something up? No, I got to give up that mentality in order to get what I want. I have to give up the less than thoughts and process in order to get what I want. It's not always on that side, on the things that I'm acquiring. But what about the things that I should have let go? And not about the outside things, but my mindset, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
mindset is key. Like, I will honestly tell you, the biggest thing I learned in therapy is that I was more in love with being in love than I was with myself.
Girl.
See, all of us have, to be honest.
I mean, and so, and that is why sometimes we shrink. Right? For me, I don't even know if it was the other person making me feel that I was less than. It was me trying to hold on to something because of the thought of, oh my God, I'm just so in love with being in a relationship that I forgot how to love myself the way that God told me I should love myself the way He loves me. Right? And so
I'd rather have something than have nothing.
Exactly.
Like, I was in the same boat, Theodora. We're talking the same language. Yeah. I was the same way, and that's why that's why I had that conversation with myself. And I don't know if you guys ever did that. What is it about me that keeps attracting? And no disrespect to somebody's name is Pookie or Ray Ray, but that's just the nickname. Pookie and Ray Ray, like, honestly, and I even struggle with that. Why am I picking the men that are inconsistent, that don't pick up the phone, that don't call me back, that breadcrumb me? For those of you who don't know what breadcrumbing is, basically they'll give you enough to pull you in, but then, like, you're the one buying them gifts, you're the one saying good morning, they won't text you back, they won't call you back, you're liking them more than you like them. And so and what I'm learning is, as I'm climbing up the the entrepreneur ladder, there are men that are willing to be abstinent, that willing to buy you flowers, text you, call you, blow up your phone, be on your, like, do whatever it needs to be done to pursue you, and you don't have to make many changes. Like I said, once you get in the relationship, that's another game changer. But before
Mhm.
then, you should be yourself, be your authentic self. If they love you authentically who you are, then that's a good thing. Once you, of course, once you get married, not even married, dating, courting, whatever you want to call it, yeah, you're gonna have to adapt. If they have children, you have to learn their children, learn their routines. But to get that person, absolutely not. No, I think you should be your authentic self. And then as you guys are learning each other, yes, there are adjustments absolutely you have to make. Absolutely.
And so let me get to our comments. Write your thoughts down, ladies, because I don't want y'all to lose them. Because I also want Paris and Zinja to jump in. You know, it's just that, like I said, that thing just kept hitting me. I'm just like, yeah, no, I had to get it out. So let me read these comments because there's also a question, and then I want to make sure that we get to these questions because I want us to touch on a few things tonight, even if we don't get to everything. But trust me, we're going to have a part 2 ladies panel if we got to have it next Thursday. You know, I don't care. We can make it happen because this is going to be so good. Eric says, don't compare your past to your present. And again, chat, chime in. Tell us your thoughts and feelings. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. That's right. Don't compare your past to your present. If my past was that good, I'd still be there. But it's not. Okay. You know. I'm just saying. Eric says, ooh, Dawn, that was good. I don't know what I said, but all right. Because I said a lot. I think I hurt myself. Eric said, you can have everything you want without giving up something. If you have the right person in your life, they will support you. And that's true. I just think, and on one hand, that the first layer of this question is not about anything external. Mm-hmm. Can I have everything I want? I made a post today lately, you know, in my, I don't know why, but this has been my thing lately. It's like in my mind, and then I state what's in my mind. Like, so today it was in my mind, I'm already there. Now, where there is, in a sense, like, I don't know. But in my mind, I'm already in that space. I'm already in that place of success. I'm already in that place of victory. I'm already in that place of love. And love, it has to start inside. Yeah. It has to start with me loving me. I can't expect you to love me and be the epitome of my love, because what happens when you leave? Yeah. And it doesn't even have to mean that you leave or you leave me because something happened. What happens when you die and if I die? You know what I'm saying? What if we pass? How, if my love, if the only value of love that I have is locked up in you, then what, you know, then this is where we're lost. So I gotta love me first, you know. So it's those things. And they said, I don't think I'll ever be whole, and I'm good with that. I perform for myself sometimes, so everyone around me is bound to catch a stray. And then come on, and then that's what I'm talking.
I love the honesty.
You know what I'm saying? Just might choose your spot carefully, because you might catch a stray. It's possible. So before we go further, Gregory has some questions that in the chat. So we're gonna start with those, if you ladies don't mind. Let me see. I'm working the comments backwards, so y'all bear with. Oh, hold on. We have a super chat in the building. Auntie Bravo said, what a powerful, authentic conversation, healing moment. Bravo, ladies. Thank you, Auntie, for the super chat. Yes. And thank you for that comment. And it is so true. This is what we're here to do. You know, have these conversations so that when we hit those sweet spots, because somebody's going to walk away with some other thought in their mindset tonight, you know, just in considering where we are. And when we do that, it makes us better. And that's why we have these conversations. We kind of have some girlfriend chat, some ladies chat, some girl chat, because ladies, we want to get ourselves together and get right. You know, I feel like we can't ask, and whatever your moral compass is, but we can't ask God for something that we're not ready for. You know, if God sent you a man that was everything, since, you know, if we're thinking about it, or if he gave you the job that you wanted, if he gave you the house that you asked for, if he gave you the car that you asked for, are we really ready for it? Are we really ready to do what's necessary to maintain it? Because it's beyond getting it. I don't want to get it and lose it. I refuse to lose another thing. In my life, I will not lose not another thing, that I have worked hard for. For me, it has been this year is like my motto this year is it's all or nothing, and nothing is not an option. So for me, it's all. Now, the thing is figuring out how to get the all. What do I need to do? How do I position myself for all? And make sure that when I do that and I get the all, that I can maintain it. Because I refuse to work real hard for stuff and then lose it. And how many of us have done that? I love the place in life where I'm at. Yep, my schedule gets busy and all of that. And I have men who have tried to talk to me and then they get mad because I'm saying I don't have time. This is the amount of time that I have. And they're like, well, you can't do this for me, or you can't. No, I can't. Because then I would be doing, like Gina said, I would be shrinking who I am. And so would you work too much and you're doing this too much, and then you podcasting these nights a week, and then you teaching this night, and then you have Bible study. Yep, all of that. I have all of that. And if you have a problem with that, then that means you don't fit into my life, and I'm not going to stop to try to fit me in yours. No, bro, that means that you can't handle all of this dynamicness that is me. You're not ready. I'm working hard to get, what I'm saying, ladies, like, no, it's take all of me or nothing at all. I can't do the shrinking and settling, and I know I'm not the only one, So I'm gonna get to this questions that Gregory's put up. Let's see. So, ladies, which one, if you want to answer this first? It's a question for the panel. What does healed and whole mean to the women on the panel? Okay, so this is to everyone. He said, I find folks use those words too often with not understanding what it takes to be quote unquote healed and whole. And also the term do the work. Gregory says you can be pliable, but not bend to your morals and values. And that's true. So I'm going to start with Paris. Answer this question first. What does heal and whole mean to you, Paris?
Well, actually, can I step back a second?
Sure.
I was thinking of my childhood when you were speaking before. And a male said to me that I was too strong and I would not get married because I was so strong. That left an impact. One of my favorite movies is Pretty Woman, and I remember the woman in a scene, she's laying down and she said the things that are not kind or something like that. I'm paraphrasing it, but those are the things that you remember. Those are the things that are why she could not believe that she was so wonderful, even though he was praising her. And I think that a lot of the times, the things that going into the being healed and whole, is you need to realize that maybe the things that you learned as a child or in your youth can bring hurt and pain. And then you need to realize, okay, I'm not what somebody else spoke over me. Does that make sense?
I love
Yeah. It does. And
so I think that's part of being healed and whole. Like it does, there's a process, I feel, and I'll go for my life. There's a process of the person that I was in my 20s versus the person I am in my 40s. And the way that I was in relationships, I was much more of an abusive person verbally, because I was like, you're not going to tell me what to do. I was just like in your face, not abusive, like trying to hurt you, but I was like, there's nothing you can tell me that it was going to make a difference. Now I will understand and listen more. So I'm still aggressive, don't get it wrong, but I'm a lot calmer than I was once. And I think that is part of me healing my experiences in my childhood and in my early adulthood. And that is what has made me the woman that has become whole now, that whomever I'm able to receive as my partner, or whether you want to look at it at work, or how I'm able to not smack people at work, even though it's in my head, but I don't physically do it. See, this is growth.
I'm so proud of it. Now, what I would just say to that too is, because I've been there, before we jump to the next person, is that I've gotten that myself. Is that like you have such strong personality and this and that, and I hate what follows that usually, and but I love this comment, is that's why you're single, or that's why you're by yourself. So, I'm just gonna be real, me. I'm like, bro, really? This what you want to do? You sure? You sure that's the statement you want to keep? That's why I'm by myself. It's like, no. And I've become very flipped. And I'm like, I am strong. You're right. I'm very strong personality. I said the problem with me being by myself, I said, is really no problem. I don't have a problem. I said, I'm by myself. I'm single by choice. I said, the problem is that you have a problem because you realize that I'm strong personality and you don't qualify to reside here in this position. Since you, so let's make it clear, and that's what happens a lot of times. I find out now, that's just me, and y'all may feel differently, but through this journey, I found out that those who make those kind of comments, it's you're upset because you see something greater than what you qualify for right now,
I agree.
and because I won't come down and because I won't, like Keena said, shrink myself, it's you wanting what you want, but you can't have it because you have not built yourself up enough to have this again and maintain it. So you're upset. So it's you deflecting that onto me, which leaves that stain, like you were saying, the comment that came to you, Paris. And I would just say this, when I hear that, it's like, no, you know what? You're right. I'm a strong woman who won't get married because I'm strong. But let me fix it and say, I will not get married to a weak man because I'm strong. So if that means, and I'm okay with that. So, we just have to find ways to reinforce ourselves when these comments come, because they can sit, but we have to find something to repel it. It can stay with you and cause you to get into that place of shrinking. So come on, Coach Theo, what's your answer to what does healed and whole mean to you?
I mean, I think what Nate said is true. I don't feel like I'm not gonna say I'm not whole in a negative way. Like I said, I feel like for me, healing, we're always healing from something, right? And we're always evolving. And so for me, I think as I've gone through my healing journey, right, it has really been a focus on me, right? And so that means like really studying being socially intelligent, right? And self-aware and taking the Clifton strength like test, right? To know like, what are my strengths? What drives me? Why do I operate the way I operate, right? Is because these are the strengths that I have, right? Also giving myself grace, which also allows me to give other people grace, right? And also recognizing, one of the things I had to recognize is that all of the guys I dated were not bad guys. Yeah, some of them were foul, right? But some of them I had to realize they weren't the person that God had for me, right? And so God was like, God was like, I need to remove these people out of my daughter's life because this poor child is going to just stay here with these dudes, right? This ain't the one I created for her, right? And so I think when I got to that point of recognizing that, you know what? This wasn't the person for you. Right. And so you need to get yourself prepared for the man that God is baking for you, who got in the oven for you, who has coming your way. Because I had to start asking myself is, would I date me?
Good question.
Yeah, right there.
Right. Because I think then you can start to also think about the person that you might even want to entertain. I mean, listen, I'm 59 now. So the 29-year-old is definitely, I'm thinking much differently than that 29-year-old, right? Mm-hmm. That 59-year-old has lived through some stuff. And I am grateful to God that I took the time, right, to really figure out who I am, who He created me to be. And then I'm starting to operate as the woman that He created me to be. And nothing less than He would expect me to accept. And I think that for me, that's what I would consider being whole. That I now am saying, okay, God, does this sound right to you? Right? Like I'm not moving based on what Theodora wants. I'm now stopping to say, okay, let me really evaluate this from the scripture, the word of God, right? Let me seek Him, right? To make sure that this is who he would have me to be with or not be with. Right? Because that, like I said, I was the girl that was, I just was trying to be in a relationship. I'm not that girl anymore.
Right. Okay, that's good. That's a good answer. Thank you for that share. Um,
Can you say
you
something?
ladies are doing a wonderful job. I hope we're answering the question, and I know that somebody is getting something out of it. I'm going to leave Mrs. Bloomfield for last to answer this question. So come on, Kina, answer. Give us your take on what does healed and whole mean to you.
Okay, so healed is freedom and whole is identity. So I'm going to
Okay.
start there. Healed is freedom and whole is identity. For anybody who's taking notes, I'm going to repeat it again. Healed is freedom, whole is identity. Okay, so I had to think about what that meant to me. So when you're healed, you acknowledge your wounds. You're saying, okay, so I'm going to give you guys an example. You see the scar, right? This is a burn from a hot iron. It doesn't mean that it never happened. There's still a scar there. I acknowledge that I have the scar. I acknowledge that the scar hurt. It burned me. It happened to me. And I can talk about my past and the things that happened to me without it affecting my future and my present. That is being healed. Being healed is being able to no longer being addicted to validation, to need validation from friends, family, employers, coworkers, or even other business partners. I'm able to say, you know what? This happened to me. I accept that it happened to me. This is where I came from. This is my past. And I don't need to chase your approval. So, for example, if I was in a very bad marriage, I acknowledge that. And with that information, I'm able to help other people with that, with, I'm sorry, with what I went through, and I don't need to bleed on somebody else. So,
Mhm.
for example, if I'm dating a man, or even if I'm going into a business, so my first business, it was excellent, it was perfect. The way that I ended it, I didn't like the way that I ended, but I'm not bleeding on my financial firm for my legal consulting firm or hurting my financial clients because my legal consulting firm didn't work out the right way. I'm thinking of a new strategy. So that is being healed. Being whole is that you're no longer looking for someone else to complete you. You recognize that you are good enough being alone. I don't need clients to come to me to make me feel like I'm an entrepreneur. I understand the tactics that I need to gain clients. So for example, I promoted my daughter's books and not everybody purchased my books. I wasn't
Mhm.
angry. I wasn't upset. I didn't stop selling my books because that audience didn't like my books. I am whole. I am at peace with the fact that not every shoe is my shoe. I am a size 7.5, 8. I know that a 6 doesn't fit me. I'm not mad at my foot because my foot is a 7.5, 8. I just can't wear those shoes. So I put on those shoes on my feet. And also, I accept every part of my story. That is what shaped me into making me who I am. And people, my friends, my family, people that I meet, accept that or not. And if they don't, that's okay. That is okay. And that makes me whole. And my values are not based on what you think. My values are what shape me, my experiences, the
Right.
things that happen in my life. That's what makes me whole. Like I said, being healed is freedom and being whole is your identity. And what being healed is not, in my opinion, I'm just going to go with what is not healed. What is being not healed is accepting anything, trying to shrink, trying to be mad about somebody not buying your books. Some people didn't come and watch me in the panel, trying to get acceptance and approval from people. You're not healed. If every time somebody does something because they're in their feelings and you're offended and you're pondering on it, there's more work to do. You're no longer healed. So being healed doesn't mean that you're a perfect human being. Being healed does not mean that you're happy, hunky dory. I have days that I cry. I have bad days and good days, but that doesn't mean that I'm not healed. And being whole is not being whole is definitely not saying that I am 100% perfect and I'm superwoman. There are some attributes that, yeah, I'm not, the most perfect person, but these are the things that happen to me and I embrace those. But if you're not okay, like let's say every time someone says something to you about your past or your ex, you're about ready to go and hurt somebody, you're not whole. You're not whole. So I think that's where people mistake that heal and whole. Like, oh, I have no problems, things don't happen to me, I never had a trauma. Of course I had a trauma, of course I had triggers, of course I had buttons, of course things happen to me in life, but how I move forward in that present and future is determines whether or not I'm healed and whole. And that's my answer.
Well, that's good. That's good. And I love that.
Yeah, I love how she put. I love how she explained that completely. Because I also believe it's dealing with your past traumas and making sure that they don't affect your present and or your future, or your relationships. I had to look at that when it came to even being married. Before going into that, not holding him responsible for things that happened to me in past relationships. A lot of times we can get triggered or something happens and automatically we want to make that person, the other person, but they're completely different and they're not related. Learning that it's not about in a relationship or a marriage, you can be interdependent, but not dependent. You want to be whole and be a whole person. And that's just the way it is. We came into the world, by ourselves. But within relationships, yes, we can depend on, each other, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you also need to be able to sit with self and self-assess. So always, looking at, what did I do? How did I contribute to that going wrong? Whenever I have a conversation with someone or if I lose a friendship, I ponder, what role did I play? Because maybe it was something, I said that was wrong. It could have been the other person, but just willing to hold myself accountable for me and for my actions and my responses. And I just believe, when you're healed and whole, that's what you do.
And I love that. I think you ladies have given such, you ladies have given such great feedback and insight and input. And again, and it's making me sit and think, as well. Again, these moments in these shows, we're always learning and growing. It's funny, on Monday nights, me and Dr. Elaine, like every Monday night, again, it's something that as much as we're hosting, before the show, we're sitting there, we're talking, and we know we're like, okay, this is going to be a big one today. Like we got to prepare ourselves to this, like, all right, we're about to learn something about ourselves. We're about to dig something deep. We're about to tap into the root of the matter. It's about to touch something, and you ladies are doing that tonight, and again, this is why Girls Chat is so important, because let's talk about the real deal stuff, and getting down to the points of the matter. I love what you were saying, Zenja, about that point of accountability, because, and that's going to lead me to actually one of the questions that we're going to get to before we wrap up the show tonight. So I don't want to jump ahead, but I just want to add really quickly, for me, my answer to what does being healed and whole mean to me? For me, being healed and whole, I realize I always relate back to, and again, whatever your moral compass is, that's what you use. I'm a God's girl, just like the rest of us on this panel. So you won't get some Jesus when you get us. But I always go back to one of my favorite, probably the favorite story in the Bible, about the woman with the issue of blood. And that how she pressed through the crowd at a time when she really was not supposed to. She was ostracized and unwelcome because of her condition. But she pressed through just to touch the hem of his garment. And at doing that, she became healed. It says her issue, the very issue that caused her to be, ostracized and excommunicated from the community during that time, it was healed up. Yeah. So her issue went away, but she became whole when she told the truth, when she told him all parts of how she got there, which leads to that accountability that Zenja was talking about. Where it leads to that not shrinking yourself, as Keena mentioned before, because now I'm being honest about what made me make the decisions that put me in the position that I'm in, that caused this issue, that's now caused me to need to be healed, because somewhere I allowed myself to be broken. So it made me realize that it's not just enough to get healed, but I have to really work on my wholeness. And when we talk about being a couple, doesn't make you whole. The number one is whole all by itself. It doesn't need anything else. It stands alone. It's the only number I think that can stand alone, and it doesn't need anything else to have value. So for me, when I learned that I needed to be able to stand alone, that I'm enough alone, that's what made me whole.
Yeah.
That I have value that is not attached to anyone else or anything else. And that value is enough. Outside things don't make me valuable. They may recognize my value, but they don't make me valuable. And that's, again, what lends to that wholeness for me. When I realized I was healed, or what healing is to me, I would say I had a series. I realized I was dating the same spirit with a different face.
We all done that.
Yeah. Listen, but
we all did that.
Yeah, but we don't want to talk about. Most of us don't want to talk about it because we think that it's a different, because the face is different. It's going to be different. It has nothing to do with the package that it comes in. You could put a cake in a pretty box. You could put a cake in a dirty brown bag. It's still cake when you get to the center of it. It's still the same. But we get caught up on the package instead of the content. And when I stopped cycling that, when I stopped dating the same spirit with a different face, that's when I realized that I was healed, because I was no longer looking for what was going to satisfy, in that temporary fix. I was no longer looking for temporary fixes and feel good moments. I really sat down and figured out what the breach was that caused me to be broken. And at the root of it, I found it was me. It wasn't anything external. It was internal. And I learned to trust myself again, as Theo said earlier. So those things for me is what means healed, and for what means for what wholeness means. So I hope we answered your question really well, Gregory. And I hope that everyone is getting something out of it.
No, I love that question.
Me too.
It was good. It was really good. And women, we need to talk about that. Like, we need to know that it's okay that asking yourself why. Theo, you said something before, like you had to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Or why am I in this space? Or why am I responding this way? When we're talking about the triggers and things like that. And I think we have to understand that, you're trying to understand yourself, and in asking yourself why, it doesn't always mean that something is wrong. You're trying to understand who you are. Why are you wired this way? And just because it's different doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's what makes you different, because you respond the way that you respond.
I did like you said, yeah.
Yeah, and we have to stop being afraid to figure out our why.
Yeah.
And you don't have it all figured out. You really don't. And that's the part of being healed. You got to accept that you don't have it all figured out. You don't know everything. And you're not perfect, and you're not going to not have triggers. And I think that's the problem with people. People think that, oh, I still have triggers, so I'm not healed. That's not true. If you recognize that something triggers you in any relationship, whether it be a friendship, business relationship, that's why you communicate. I don't like when you put the clothes on the floor. I'm just using an example. I mean, but that might be a trigger for you, because maybe you were an abuse victim and your parents beat you if you left clothes on the floor. So that could be something. And that's what I'm saying. Being healed doesn't mean that you don't not have things. It just means that you recognize those things. That's why I call it that duo. But being healed, like you said, I love literally everybody said something so beautiful, like on this panel. And that's why I believe that people said, oh, the guy needs to be healed, whole, and set free. Well, you understand that the guy or the friend or they have things. Like, we're humans. Like, we're never going to be perfect. Like, we
Yeah.
came out of the womb perfect, but then as life goes on, we're touched and tainted by something. But it's just recognizing that, okay, this is, it's like that shirt that you like to wear all the time. It gets ketchup on it, and then you wash it after a while, that ketchup stain just doesn't go. It's the same thing. You do have those things, but you recognize there is a stain there. Like, but this is what made me who I am today and have formed me. So, but everybody like had something beautiful to say. I loved it.
That's
I'm
why
gonna take them with me.
I love this diverse panel. I do want to say that before we move on, because I want to ask these questions, I want to do these comments. This is really good because I could stay here all night, but I know we ain't got that kind of time in life. But triggers, I want to say, I think we have to realize are related to an event, not to the person. It's what happened, and we tend to take them out on the next person, but it's not the person again that did it to us. It's an event. It's something that happened that caused us to now react or respond in a way. So, we have to start unlearning some things and remembering. And I think that's a part of the healing. I really had to, and I think Gregory mentioned about, and what is doing the work. Doing the work is taking the time to acknowledge something happened, accept that it happened, and be willing to figure out or get the help you need to navigate your way to unlearning the behavior that an event caused.
And
And
acknowledging that something else may happen again.
right, and accept that it will. Why? Because events happen in life. Life is full of events happening. Zenji, Hannah?
No, I was saying, just like Kina said, you want to just make sure that it does not, you don't let it impact your present or your future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just constant.
It's so funny because like I said, I do therapy for preventative care. And, last month my therapist was like, oh, do you think we still need to meet every month? You seem like you're doing well. I said no, because we don't know what's going to happen next month. So yeah.
Right. So I still need to be here because I don't know.
Even if it's just for us to chit chat, but we know we need to meet.
But it's true because you find that you don't know how healed you are. And I've said this before. The way that you know the depth of your healing is by the amount of pressure that you can put on that wounded spot.
Yeah.
And you don't know that. And Zen just said it early in the conversation about when you're in relationship or in a marriage, like you don't know what is going to trigger you or bring back until you're in it. But you're already in it. You're here. I didn't know. I thought that I was healed from this, but guess what? I was healed from it as a single person. But now I'm back in this relationship space. And so now there's pressure of the other person now being put on, because it's fine when it's just me, because I know how to navigate just me. But now that there's relationship pressure and I have to consider someone else's feelings or someone else's, presence, I don't know how healed I am until. And I think that's what we have to be. It's important that we have a trusting partner and be in that space where we can share and say, hey, like I'm experiencing something in this moment. I know it's not you personally, but this experience is bringing something back up, and I need you to help me through that. Like and I know it's not you, but apparently, it's pressing on something, and I think that we have to be careful and being in those spaces. Welcome in, Vaughn, the Invisible Man, the building, saying blessings all. It's good to see you, Vaughn. Thank you for popping in with us tonight. I hope y'all are enjoying this conversation. Gregory said, same cake, different box. What a sermon title. You can preach it, brethren. You can
preach it.
I'm not even going to charge you. I'm not going to charge you.
I wanted to just really quick drop a little gem about the triggers. Because you said something, I think it was Zinja. I don't remember. One of you guys said it because I was listening and I'm taking notes. I'm actually taking notes on my phone because these are things that I'm going to use in my grief coaching sessions. I'm taking notes. And you said something and I just want to say something. And I wanted to just combine both of what you guys said together for the people who are listening or taking notes, because I am taking notes. A trigger is not a weakness from what I'm understanding. No. It's a signal. It shows you where your healing still needs
Yes.
attention. Triggers are teachers. What I'm figuring out is triggers are teachers, but if we don't listen, they become a tyrant. Think about a bad child who doesn't listen. That's what I wrote it as. This is
Yes.
what I wrote it as. And it becomes a tyrant. So that's why it's important to say somebody, if you yell at me or if you raise your voice, it can trigger me. And you're telling the person, this is an issue that I have. Let's work on that or how that affects me. And if that person cares about you and love you, whether it be a friend, a family, like I said, they should be able to honor and respect that. And those are
Yeah.
where boundaries. And I don't know what your next question is, but that's that boundary piece. Okay, she doesn't like screaming. So I need to remember that not to raise my voice. Or he doesn't like. So that's where the boundaries are set. And if they don't respect that boundaries, then we need to reevaluate the whole situation. And those are that's what I was just thinking about. That's how I wrote it down. But a trigger is
Yeah.
not weakness, it's a signal. It shows you where your healing still needs, because you said soft spot, and triggers are teachers, but if we don't listen, they become tyrants. I think I'm gonna write a book about that.
Mhm. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I'm saying, just say that you came up with that on your show. That's all. Just
I
say
will.
it from.
When I make money, when I become a millionaire, I'm gonna spread the money with you guys.
Just write a little note. You know, we know what, right? Just scribble it in there. We good. We good. So I have 4 questions. I have a question for each of you. I hope y'all are enjoying this girls chat. Again, we didn't have no, I wanted it to be free flowing conversation, wherever the sweet spot is for us to land and really be effective in people's lives. And that's the whole point. I don't like for it to be real interviewy. I love when we could just come together and talk and be free, because these are the moments that we as women need to have so that we can unmask and really help one another. Because I think and I hope that somebody is finding out that you are not in this thing by yourself, that you are not the only one feeling or thinking the way that you're feeling, or thinking that there are women who are going through it, who are amazing and in amazing spaces. But guess what? We are all dealing with the same thing in the same way, just at different times. And it's how we respond. So somebody up here has something to help you to make it a little further in your journey. So I got 4 questions that I want to ask our panel on tonight before we end the show. And I hope y'all are ready. Don't worry, it's not too bad. I went easy on y'all this time. Easy on, I think it's easy. I think so. Okay, so I'm gonna start with Paris. Paris, you there, sis?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I love you. So, in a relationship, do you think it's important for your partner to be just your mate and your man, or does he need to be mate or man and your best friend?
Well, I believe, and I always say that I want my partner to be my best friend.
And why?
Because I think a friendship should be the basis for any healthy relationship.
Okay.
And he should be able to understand every aspect of me. And if you're my friend, because my friends know me, they know my facial expressions, they know my temperament, they know when I'm quiet, because it's safer for everyone, and I think if you're my man and you keep trying to push these points and you're nagging me, like I don't need to talk a lot. I'm not one of those women who need to have a lot of conversation, but my facial expressions will tell you everything. And I think if you're my friend, you know that about me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think definitely, yes, he should be my best friend, because he also should be the person I can confide in, and without judgment, because I can be the same for him.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Now, ladies, I want you all to consider your thoughts, because and whatever your answer would be to that question as well, because I want you to feel free to share after we go around. I want to make sure to ask all the questions to our ladies so we can get these in. So, and chat, y'all chime in too if you like. You think that your mate or your man should be just your mate and your man, or should he be your mate, your man, and your best friend? Is there a difference? Does it matter? I don't know. What say you? I know what my thoughts are. So, next question, I'm going to give to, okay. I'm going to give this question to Coach Theo. So Theo, can a person who is chaos in your life also be peace in your life? Or would we consider that being toxic? So can the person who's chaos in your life also be the peace in your life? Or is that what we consider being toxic?
Well, I can honestly answer that as yes, because I will honestly tell you, my goddaughter, she's older, she's in her 30s. She is chaos, but she's also peace, right? And that's only because as I've learned, right, to give her grace, I've learned how to navigate our relationship in a way that I've established boundaries that I can be there when she's having one of those kind of chaotic moments or moments where she's crashing out and I just need to be godmother and listen, all right? Versus those times when we can get on a call and we have a peaceful conversation, right? And why I can say that is because I had to learn that, right? I had to learn, how do I navigate this relationship with someone that I love that could sometimes make me want to pull out my hair, but also recognize that she's dealing with some trauma and some stuff that I might not understand, right? But sometimes it's just about listening, right? Without judgment, without trying to fix it, without trying to, be the person that's going to take care of it all. And so I would say in that situation, yes, I do believe that, and it's probably because I'm more mature. Because I would tell you that the younger godmother was like, yo, I ain't got time for you, right? But, I think as I've gotten older and you hear me say this a lot, I truly, truly believe in extending grace, right? And I think when you leave from that point of view, it makes it a little easier for you to like really just acknowledge, right, that sometimes people just need you to just be there in the way that you can.
Okay, that's good. So let me just throw a little part B on that just for real quick, and you can answer it really quick too. So in a relationship space, is it possible for the person to be chaos? The person who is chaos to you can they also be your peace, or is that what we call toxic? Like, can the person who broke you really fix you?
I mean, having been in that situation, right? The person that broke me couldn't fix me. I had to fix myself, or with the help of God, right? But yeah, I think it depends on the situation. But I think having been in a situation where I'm gonna thought someone broke me, right? He ain't really break me, but at the time it felt like he broke me.
Mm-hmm.
And he wouldn't have been able to fix me because he needed to fix himself, right? He has stuff that was going on with him. I realized as I went through my healing journey that he needed to fix, right? Before he could even fix anybody else. Although he went on to another relationship being broken, right? That wasn't my problem.
Right.
But, so no, I do not believe that the person that broke you can fix you. But I'm gonna always say it depends on the situation because somebody else might feel differently, right?
Of course. Okay. Listen. We just talking. It's just us. It's just us talking.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Keena, question to you tonight is, and you can take this from any angle that you want. How much is too much? Considering all the things that we are as women, so I'll give a little, and all the things that we do and we endure and we take and we deal with, how much is too much? Like, is there a point where we quit, where we sign out, where things expire. But how much would you say is too much? When does a person know it's too much? Like it's time?
Oh, I'm gonna try to say this, and hopefully I won't get booted off. When you feel like you're when you feel like you're dying
I was gonna
inside, I
say,
didn't want to use that word.
here, trust me, you can still be here.
Okay. When you're dying inside, like that's when it's too much. When you feel like you're no longer you, when you feel like you can't even tell your family or friends about your situation, when you've endured so much that, okay, I'm just going to share my personal business on this panel. I was married to a man who was a covert narcissist. He was, like, I'm not just throwing this word out. And he made me question my whole identity. I never had depression issues. I always loved myself. I always thought I was the most beautiful thing in the world. But he made me question who I was, even though I would say this is not an appropriate behavior in a marriage, but he would say yes. And then he would turn people against me, and then it would look like I was crazy. So what ended up happening is I thought maybe I was the problem and not him. So then it stretched me, and I wasn't safe enough to call my mother. And I have a solid relationship with my parents. Both of my parents are living, and I had a solid relationship, but it stretched me to the max where I felt like I couldn't go to them anymore because they were like questioning my actions, my behaviors, because he got to them first. So it's when it's hard to grow. Like right at this point, you can't grow anymore. You've met your ceiling. So let's say that you're trying to get here, but because you're with a person or your friendship, like I said, I don't want only this to be about relationship, but friendship,
Right.
jobs. How many of us have had a job where they've made you work and do substitute supervisor or whatever, and you're trying to grow? They can have you capped here, but your potential is all the way up here. That's when you know that that's too much. Or like when somebody's talking to you like you're an animal, like you're doing all these things for this person, but now they're talking to you like you're an animal, like you're a dog or a cat, and it's like, wait, like how is this appropriate? Another thing, it requires you to sacrifice. And I'm not talking about there is sacrificial in any relationship. At work, you have to sacrifice to get a paycheck, right? Sometimes you have to work overtime. Sometimes even for your kids, you would like those new Gucci shoes or that new Gucci bag, but you can't because you know your children do sports. That's safe. That's safe sacrifice. But it's when you literally your partner has a drug addiction, or your family has a gambling problem, and now your bank account is being drained. That is too much. That is way too much. That's when that becomes too much. So what I'm gonna say is it's too much when your endurance becomes bondage. You become a servant to it. It's one-sided. You're striving. Your power, you're now asking Jesus to resurrect your power because now you've relinquished all your power. That's the best way I can say it. Jesus, I need you to resurrect my power because I've relinquished it. I'm trying to laugh. This is serious, but
It's okay.
what else? It's a real thing.
So when you're sacrificing, when you are losing more of yourself than you have to give, kind of.
Correct.
You've
stretched. Like the rubber band, basically, I accidentally did this to my rubber band. The rubber band no longer is attached. Like it's literally stretched. So that's when it becomes too much. When you're literally dying, like you're like, oh my God, I'm no longer keen. Remember that you're shrinking yourself. I am no longer the person that you met me. I literally came to you healed and whole, and now I'm confused.
Right.
It's become toxic, and my friends don't even recognize me anymore. That's when it becomes too much.
Okay, y'all hearing it here. I hope these questions are helping. We touching on a little bit of everything tonight because I feel like somebody needs to know, and somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to consider it. Somebody needs to put it in their well for another time. So, ladies and gentlemen,
all right.
My question to you is, and because she's the married one out of us right now, I'm saying that because hopefully all of us on this panel will eventually, if you want to, get married again. I don't know. That's the conversation. That's a whole different show. She is our marriage expert right now. So my question to you is, and not saying that this is your situation, because I love my brother, but could you wait on a man to become what you saw in him or believe him to be?
No. I think I don't know about y'all, but I've been there before. Hoping and praying and wishing, and I build a bear. I mean, like, I'm 53. I'm 53. I love you, and I believe in grace, but at this point, no. Once you get to a certain, now when you're younger, if you're in your 20s, oh yeah, you got some time, you could wait, but no, not at my age. No,
just say at this big old age is what I usually say.
Yeah,
Grown age.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on Build-A-Bear. That was it. That was everything.
Ray.
Yes,
For the do it yourself. I got to know.
I mean, there's no other way to explain it. I mean, you don't want to, character and personality and values. Like, you don't want to have to build those things in a man.
Say that again.
Not at 50.
Yes.
Anyway,
Say it for the back.
Say it again. Say it for the front, because we've been talking about so long that the front done lost it, because
we are not building a man.
Thank you.
And especially when you get to menopause, no, your tolerance for building a man, no.
Say it for the people in the house.
I think he's trying to get an offering. We ain't doing that.
It's not in here. Look.
No. I'm gonna bring you. Listen, I got your juice right here, already in the cup.
I would not recommend that to anyone. If you're young and you're just starting out, your 20s, you're fresh out of college, then you've got time, and you can even grow together. Mm-hmm. But once you've reached a certain stage in life, I'm not saying you can't be friends, but
you lost me there.
You need to really make sure that you have the tolerance or the capacity, if you choose to build, a man or a person or a woman, yeah, I no.
Okay, listen.
We could pray and root for him and intercede for him, but
listen, no is no, and it's okay. Now, the reason why I ask these questions and put them out, because some things we need to hear as women, because we linger in spaces too long. We excuse a lot of things more than we should. Our expectations are sometimes and oftentimes, and the reality is most often, displaced, and we just go beyond what we are built to do, all for the sake of trying to have something versus nothing and shortchanging ourselves. So in asking, could you wait on a man to become the man you saw him or believe him to be, really comes from the fact that hold on. Gregory,
we know you beyond built.
This is her husband speaking, saying Zenja's comments are not a testimony to her state. The comments that are expressed on this are not those in agreement with Bravo Nation. Gregory says this are not a testimonial. This bear is already built in Jesus' name. Hey, Sean Doe, he said in Jesus' name. We had to put praise on that. And I do want to say, as a disclaimer, I did say before I asked the question, this is not her situation. So we are in agreement there. But I asked these questions and put them out there again because some woman and some man needs to know, and it is not a negative. Hey, Pastor Shanks, Global Guided Ministries is in the building. Blessings, Queens. He says, how y'all doing? Thank you for tuning in tonight. Good to see you, sir. But I asked this question because women need to know as we are trying to better ourselves, and it's never male bashing. It's never that. We are trying to center ourselves and get us together so that we can show up better in the spaces to be that proper partner, not perfect partner, but proper partner, because I have to learn how to become your partner in growing in the relationship. I have to learn how to walk with you. So I'm not coming perfected. None of us are coming perfected. We are perfecting this relationship journey together. So in asking, could you wait on a man to become who you saw him to be or believe him to be? I'm glad you said no. And some people could say yes. And again, this is not one answer, one size fits all. We're expressing where we're at and just bringing some light and perspective to it. I could not sit there, because sometimes who I saw and I believed you to be is not truly who you are. Sometimes I'm looking at you as who I want you to be, not who you really are. When I see potential in you, potential is one thing and product is another. So me thinking about all the, again, I've said this a million and one times, and y'all know me, I be transparent. Do I have the potential to be a size 6? Absolutely. Am I ever going to be that? Absolutely not. You know, and if I am, please somebody take me to the hospital, because that means that something is really, really wrong with me. Because it's just not, listen, I keep it plain and simple and practical. It's just not how I'm wired. It's not how I'm built. It's not my design. You know, so sometimes we have to consider the perspective that we are looking at while we are trying to make this man who we want him to be. But who is he really? It has to be more than who I want you to be. It has to be who you really are. Because I can believe
who you want them to be too might not also be who they want to be.
I was going to say who they want to be. Like, who do you want? Who does he want to be?
Eric, don't be laughing at me.
Listen, I was going to say, he wants you to heal him, make him whole, and help him, but he can't even cover you. And then he becomes that project, not a partner. And then on top of that, if you go and build that bear, you're probably, and I'm no disrespect to nobody, but you're probably building that bear for another woman. And that is not your job. He has a mom. He has aunties, he has a grandma, he has people that can help him. That is not my job. A real man comes prepared and ready to be your covering.
But even beyond that, we
were talking about before too.
Everything that we learned at home, we decide as we become adults. You cannot continue to blame your parents for what happened to you at 6 years old and you are now 60. Because at some point you have to own.
66?
I did. I said 66. I did. I did. Listen, I'm about to be 56. I have heard and experienced some things. And I'm like, sir, you are grown. You have grandkids. What is happening? Like, and how did you get through this whole life of having kids and grandkids? But now all of a sudden you want to discuss relationship and you're triggered back to when you were 6. Yeah. I'm sorry that Rachel with the bows in her hair left you in the park. I mean, that ain't got nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? Just like I cannot want you to become like, bruh. And it's no disrespect, but these are the things that we trigger ourselves as women into believing. Here go Eric. Bam. I'm just saying, you know, we got to keep it real, but we trick ourselves into believing that if I leave, you know, this is the opportunity. You know, we try to make ourselves relevant in ways that we don't need to. That's not making you a better woman, sis. It's not. So you really have to assess it and asking, can the person who is chaos also be peace, or do we call that toxic? And again, it's very much dependent upon the situation, but I want us to consider this at the same time. Chaos and peace cannot flow from the same valve. It can't flow from, whether it's in relationship, friendship, or any of that, you know. And Theo's example was perfect and prime. And she showed us how to navigate the differences, how she adjusted herself because she understood the duality of the person that she was dealing with. A lot of us don't take the time to make those separations and compartmentalize. So we get into this cycle, which becomes toxic and abusive because the person creates the chaos, then comes back and tries to fix it. And we are easily swung with gifts, you know, with sweet words, with temporary gestures. These are things that we have to think about. And are we allowing it to create a toxic environment for us? You know, and again,
an intimate relationship is different than a
yeah,
with a godchild.
no,
Right.
And I
yeah.
will honestly say there have been times when I cut her off. I'm like, listen, I'm taking a break from you, right? But
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, you made that difference of in that situation with your goddaughter versus, but we walk into relationships
yeah,
with that same mentality, giving those same allowances,
yeah,
not thinking about it's a different expectation because we have a different rapport.
yeah,
What I may tolerate from my son, I would not tolerate from my husband.
yeah,
And when I do, I'm creating an unhealthy, because that's what toxic is, something that is unhealthy and destructive environment in my relationship. I'm creating it because I'm not doing anything to dislodge from it or to change it. You know, in asking the question about, you know, does your man have to be your man, you know, the man in your life as well as your best friend, is because sometimes in relationships, we tend to go for the romance instead of the true root of a relationship.
yeah.
And then we wonder why our emotional needs are not being met. And that's because you've taught this man how to speak to you through gifts and gestures instead of emotional substance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so having him as your friend and best friend,
Yes.
and best friend doesn't mean that you don't have any other friends or you don't have any other any other outside relationships, but you being my best friend, you should be the one that I can come to talk about everything comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really want a man that you can be that emotionally vulnerable with? I remember when I was married, one of the struggles that I had, honestly, was I didn't want to go to the gym with my husband. It's not that I didn't want to work out at the time, you know. It's not that I didn't, you know, I didn't mind want to work out, get my workout on, but I realized this later on down the line. And being married, it's like you would think that there should be something like y'all see each other in every possible way. But for whatever reason, I wasn't willing to be vulnerable enough to go work out with him. Why? Because I didn't want you to, I felt that it was my most vulnerable space that was leaving me really showing him my worst imperfection, which was my weight that I struggled with, that he didn't have a problem with, you know, but you know what I'm saying? So that was a me thing. But it hurt, I feel, our friendship, because that was a space that then I know now, you know, that I wasn't willing to allow you to be there for me emotionally, to walk me through that journey. And I should have trusted you, not because you didn't make it safe, but because it was a me thing. So I'm saying this so that someone else could think about it when your partner is with you for a reason, you know, and allow yourself to be emotionally vulnerable, to allow them to be there and become that best friend for you. You know, listen, if y'all could sleep together, you could certainly sweat together in the gym. You know what I mean? Just like take the mask, you know. And then when I'm asking how much is too much, is because we have to learn our capacity.
Yes.
We cannot wait until you get to the point where you realize that you are losing yourself, because there are signs before then. Because by the time you get to the point, like Keena mentioned, where you are losing yourself, you've lost yourself, you are so far out that you're dying to self, it is already in some senses too late. And it takes so much work when you could have stopped it way before. So you have to be able to create those standards and know your limits and say, this is my cutoff point, before you start sacrificing all of you, because then that starts to make you bitter, you know. So those are just the reasons why I ask those questions, because I feel like these are important points that we as women, we go through, we struggle with. And again, it's not male bashing. Men, we love you. And we're having these conversations so that we can all show up better for ourselves, because when we're better for us and women are here trying to help women heal, then we can be better in the spaces that we are in with you. So before we wrap up the show tonight, there are a few comments in here I want to just read, and then I want to give the ladies the opportunity to say their final words and comments, and to say how they can be reached. And we do have our resident male expert in the building as well, so we want him to come and share for a moment. Right at the end, hold on. Pastor Shanks says, "You are not what you went through. You are how you respond to it." That's a good thought and a good point. Keep that in mind. You're not what you went through. He said, "I asked this question because when can identifying love?"
He had a question.
There
was a question further up about.
All right, let me see where we at. All right. Sorry, Pastor Shanks. Let me see. Okay. His question was, how do we identify true love? I think that's going to take us into a whole nother show. Okay. So he says, I asked that question because when we can identify love, we will stop rejecting it. And I think that's true, but I also think that love is many things to many people. It depends. I think you have to identify according to your moral compass what love is. Love is not always what we've learned love is, because sometimes we've learned from people who are wounded, some people, love can look like abuse, and that's why we've learned to tolerate some levels of abuse. So, that's just what happens with relationship. But I do believe, like you said, when we do understand what true love really is, we will stop rejecting it, because often we reject that. I think love makes us very vulnerable. He also says
it doesn't drain you. True love shouldn't be draining you. Like I said, going back to shrinking, making yourself. You shouldn't be striving, begging, chasing, performing. That's not true love. True love is fruitful. You should be at peace. It's not a fantasy either. And I know, like I said, that's another show, but you shouldn't be fantasizing. You shouldn't be thinking this is Cinderella and Snow White, like all day, every day, and roses. That's not true love. That's a fairy tale. But it shouldn't drain you either. But it should be fruitful and give you peace inside. It should make you feel happy. Oh, before you go, yep.
Right. So before he can come to you, you first have to be his peace. Well, with that being said, and I agree with that, but I will also say to that, in order for me to be your peace, sir, you have to know what peace is for you.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Because, I love it.
Yeah, it's duality to it. I can show up as in your life as peace. See, here we go. All right. A little overtime. We're just gonna do 10 minutes of overtime, just real quick. I was talking to a grown man who approached me, and we were getting to know each other, who had a very rough life and upbringing. I came into his life, and I'm very calm demeanor. He's used to dealing with women who are from the street, who are, living some other kind of life and depending on him in a whole different way. He didn't know how to handle the peace that I brought, because I didn't need you for anything. I just needed you. I didn't require anything from him. That kind of peace that I brought into his life, he was not ready to handle. So this is why I say, men, before you expect a woman to come in and be your peace, you need to identify what peace is to you. Otherwise, you won't receive it and you will reject it. So me being peace is really up to you. I think that's just my feel, because we hear that a lot, and it puts the ownership of peace on to the woman. I think love is many things. Pastor Shanks says love is sacrifice, willing to do what you want, benefit from, and willing to do what's an inconvenience for you. I can agree with that to some degree. I think those are parts of it, but I don't think that's all of it. That's an angle of it. And like I said, that's a good question. And I think it's going to take us into a whole nother show when we start talking about what love is. I would say this quickly. Oh, I read it wrong. Okay, let me read it again. Love is sacrifice, willing to do what you won't benefit from, and willing to do what's an inconvenience for you. Am I reading it right?
Willing to do what you won't benefit from and willing to do what's an inconvenience for you. So basically what he's saying is that love is a sacrificial component, that you're willing to do things that are inconvenience for you. That means like things that doesn't feel good, like basically going out of your way to go to the store even though that wasn't something you wanted to do.
That could be a
That's what he's saying.
degree of love, but I don't know that
Yeah,
that.
I don't agree with that.
Um,
I don't
I
agree
say it
with that.
depends on the situation. I think that's a blank, like a broad statement.
right. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna take us into a whole nother show. But I would, and it's not that it's not a good question. We could, we can definitely come back and circle back and talk about that. Um,
Like that needs to be unpacked.
exactly. Because I mean, right, there are components, and I can agree to. There is sacrifice in love, but I know a lot of people say, love doesn't hurt. Well, guess what? In our world, and not making it churchy, but Jesus going to the cross for us, him doing it out of love for his Father, first of all. That was a sacrifice, that was pain. So there is some pain. There is some pain equated with love, but love should not hurt you with intention. There is some sacrifices that we have to make. That is beyond. But yes,
Yeah. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7.
then they, see. So yeah, we gonna definitely we gonna bring that on. We might have to unpack that one night in August. He also says you can't fake this. No, you can't fake. You can't fake love. He said we will do things naturally. There are some things that come naturally, but sometimes love is sacrifice. There are things we do for our children that I don't want to do, but I do it because I love you and I know it needs to happen. Gregory says you can't expect the woman to be your peace when that man is giving the woman hell on earth. Amen to that. And amen to that.
Yes.
Big brother Rock is in the house. He's a part of the house. He showed up and came through. What's good, big bro?
Where you been, brother?
And speaking of the brothers, because I want to wrap up the show tonight, because I don't want to take up your whole Thursday night, although I will if you let me. But because I want y'all to come back, I'm gonna try to behave tonight. This is for you, Theo. What's up, my loves? He put an S on that. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for including us, because we know Theo is your girl. Pastor Shank says exactly. You made my point. I think it's referring to you, Zinja, with the scripture. So thank you for that. He said, "What's up, my loves?" But thinking of the men, I want to bring Brother Eric, Sir Eric, up to the platform tonight. And again, I want to thank everyone for their shares. I want to thank everyone for what you contributed to this girls' chat on tonight. We're going to do it again. It is not the same as the ladies' room. But sometimes we just need to come in and have conversations and touch on different topics, just speak our heart on tonight. So I want to get just to keep some balance. So I asked if one of the men would just hang out. So Sir Eric is going to come up, and I just want him to share, give him, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes to just share on his thoughts on the conversation tonight, what stood out to him, and from a male's point of view, what he gleaned from this conversation. Oh, okay, Pastor Shank. She said, no, the comment you made about loving your kids. Yes, Lord, you're right. It's love. Because my son, Lord Jesus. Okay, but again, that's a whole nother. So let's see if we can get Sir Eric onto the stage on tonight, and y'all bear with me because I seem to be buffering a little bit. Welcome in, Eric, to girls chat on tonight. I can't let you into the ladies' room because that's women only, and they will put me out. But you can come and share on the girls chat conversation from the male perspective. Was any of this helpful, enlightening, And from a male point of view, share with us something that you gleaned from the conversation tonight.
So first off, can the ladies hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good
Yes, we
evening,
can
ladies.
hear you.
How are you?
We're good.
I love the conversation. Um, I'm hoping that the men was listening to what was being said because we as men have feelings. So we have feelings just like the ladies have feelings. But men need to understand that yes, there when you're approaching a woman and in a certain way, you have to maintain that at all times. There's no change up after you get the woman. Just because you got her, you can't say, "Well, I got her now. I can relax myself." No, you got to keep up the same standard that you used to approach her. You got to still hold up to that standard. It's not about buying her gifts and flowers and candy and all that other stuff. It's about your mentality being
But
on the
don't not
same.
do that. Don't not do it. I just want to say that too. Sorry.
Uh,
We like that too. We like that too.
yes, you like it, but like
We,
you
we,
said,
we want all that. We want all the things. We want all the
you said in
things.
the
Right, ladies? We want all the things.
right, but like you
Not
said in the
wrong.
beginning, you don't want that to be. You don't want the man to think that's the only reason
Right.
because it's not. Men have to understand that it's a mentality that you have to have. Every woman on this panel has a certain standard that they want to live by. And if you really want that woman, you're going to live up to the standards that she wants. She's not trying to change you. These are the standards that she have in place that she's looking for. And if you can't meet those standards, then don't pursue it. And if you think you can meet those standards, then show her that you can meet those standards and maintain those standards. That's all that is. She's not asking you when we go out all the time that you got to pay all the time that we go out and all this other stuff. As a man, that's what you should do. That's what you should do. Even though the relationship is going to be 50-50, as a man, you should go ahead and pay for your thing.
We ain't doing 50. I can't do 50.
I know you can't do 50, but
I need 100. I need 100. I'm just saying. I just need
well,
it.
yeah, but
But I know what you mean. I was just speaking out loud for myself. I'm sorry.
right. And all, but the man can't get it. The man cannot get that twisted. Yes, there are certain standards that a man wants in a woman, but there's certain standards that a woman needs in a man. You see how I said that. There's certain standards that a man wants in a woman, but there's certain standards that a woman needs in a man. So there's a difference in that. So we as men have to we're gonna step up. We got to step up 100%.
Right. Right. Thank you for that male share and male perspective. Again, we don't want it to be one-sided. And when we do this with the men, the men's lounge is all male panel. So it's a little different of a dynamic. And the women, we don't go into the men's lounge, but we are going to have a chat time for the men. And when that night comes up, I'm going to make sure it's on the night when Coach Theo can be our ladies' voice who leans in to share her thoughts on the men's conversation on that, because I think it's just a good fit sometimes. I don't always want to be that one. I'm just going to host. That's what I'm going to do. But, thank you, Eric, for sharing, because we want to make sure that our voices are heard and that there is balance. And we want the men to know that we are not just putting demands out for no reason. We are not just standing strong and independent for no reason. The women that we have developed ourselves to be, number one, is for ourselves, but it's also a benefit and a blessing to you. And that's what we want to be. But we want the benefit and the blessing that we are to you to be handled properly. We didn't put our time in making us who we are to be mishandled. And in like kind, we would do the same. I feel safe in saying. So I want to read these last few comments, and then I want to go around the room, giving our ladies panel the opportunity to share their final thoughts, comments, and how we can get in touch with them. And I thank y'all for hanging out with me tonight. Seriously, y'all. This was good. Pastor Shank says, take who she fell in love with, talking to the men, take who she fell in love with and make him better. I like that. And that's men taking the man who she fell in love with and then make him better. Improve on that. He also says, plus, what do those flowers represent? Some guys only give flowers when they do something wrong. That's true. Again, we got to keep that in mind. Sometimes ladies, we get jealous and upset over women who get gifted a whole lot, but again, you don't know what's behind that gift. I think I shared before, for those who don't know, Eric is my ex-husband. We're ex-spouses, and at one point when we were dating, he used to bring me roses all the time, not because I asked about them, but that's just who he was, who he is. He's remarried, wonderful woman, my Tasha, I love her so much. But that's just who he was. And women would get upset, like, well, what did you do to get him to do that? I didn't do anything. That's just who he is. Where one of my coworkers would get flowers from her boyfriend after they have had an argument and a fight, and he puts hands on her. So roses were not a pleasant gift for her. To this day, flowers is not something that she enjoys receiving, because in her mind, it's attached to the hurt and the pain that she received. So, let's not get caught up in the gifting, because like Pastor Shank said, you never know what it's attached to. Rocker's excited that Coach Theo is going to be the ladies' voice who leans in when the men come together for that conversation. Gregory says, good job, Eric. Good job for speaking.
Thank you.
So Pastor Shank says, exactly. So ladies, it's just for us to think about some things a little differently, and to know that as sisters, we do not have to be at each other's throat. We are not each other's competition. We are each other's complement. I want you to be the greatest version of you that you could possibly ever be, and be good with just being you. So we're going to go on now in the room and give the ladies the opportunity to give their final thoughts, comments, and how can the people get in touch with you. And I want to start with Lady Zenja Bloomfield.
Well, you can get in touch with me on my Instagram. I am Zenja. And my final thoughts are really, if you have a relationship with Christ, find out who you are in Christ. And then know your why. What's your intention, whether it's being in a relationship? Why do you want to be in a relationship? Do you want somebody to take care of you? Do you want companionship? Like, know your why. Even if it's doing community service, why are you serving others? Is it so that you can be seen, or is it because you truly have a heart to serve?
That's good. So you can reach her on Instagram at I am Zenja, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you can also purchase her book through Pamela.
Sister Pamela Publishing.com. There's a link also in the
Okay, it's back up at the top. All right, so we're going to scroll back up. You can reach her there and purchase her book and her workbook, yes, which I will be getting for sure, because I need that to go with my book. Okay, and I want to make sure I'm in the right place. So again, there you go. It's at the top. And thank you, sis, for always coming through. It's always and I love you being here. Come on, Lady Keena, give the people your final thoughts, comments, and how they can reach you.
So my final thoughts, even from listening to everybody, we all have purpose. Don't ever shrink yourself for anyone, not for an employer, not for a friend, not for a family member. Be your authentic self. Do not strive, do not chase, do not beg, and do not perform for anyone. You are, whether you're a man or a woman, you are the prize. I know that they always say women are the prize, but men can be the prize too. And you are absolutely the prize. And if somebody doesn't cherish you, whether they be male or female, then boot them out. because you do not need to shrink yourself to win a position, to win somebody's heart. The right person will locate you. God will put you in the place that you need to be with that person. If you're not with somebody right now, I'm gonna piggyback off of Lady Zenja. Maybe you need to find out why. Why am I not in a relationship right now? Why am I not in a job right now? Or why am I not building or being where I need to be? Maybe God needs to do some extra work for you. If you don't believe in God, maybe the universe or whatever, but find out that inner purpose, but do not shrink. Now to find me, I'm very easy. purplebookclub.com. It is and I'm actually wanting to give away a book. If you go to purplebook.com and you hit me up and you say you're on the show, I am gonna give away 2 books. This is one of the things I have. These are things I made, like Dream Big. And then I'm gonna mail it out to you. I have motivational things because I am a grief coach and a Christian counselor. Be happy. I have Be Brave. And then so I'm gonna give away 2 of my daughter's children's books. And then if you are looking for the financial side, you can find me at simplykefinancial.com. I'm also on Instagram. You can find me under I think Kina Luma. You go on Instagram, you'll find me on Kina Luma. But if you can't find me, just go to purplebookclub.com. You can send me a message, or like I said, simply KEFinancial.com is where you can find me. And I am very responsive. I respond to every single email within about 4 hours. If I don't respond to you within 4 hours, I'm probably traveling.
All right, guys. So if you want, Kina has partnered with me tonight to give away 2 books. I would suggest you get over to purplebookclub.com and let her know, hey, I was on the show, and she's giving away 2 books on tonight. So go ahead and hop over there, make it happen for you. Wait till the show is over, though. Hop over and go ahead and let her know so that we can bless you real good on tonight. Come on, Lady Paris. Give us your final thoughts, comments. Tell the people how they can get in touch with you.
You can't.
All right.
I don't have anything that I'm promoting, and I'm really
right
quiet.
Here section. That's what you can get. You can, because she's usually in the comment section.
That's it. Yes. And Eric, hi. we still cool tonight, so that's good.
Hello.
Hello.
Y'all want to say that?
I enjoy this. Oh, and hello, Mr. Theo. I always adore you, so I just want you to know that too. And Ms. Zenja, I love your head wrap. It's absolutely beautiful. And Kenya, what's going on, girl? Diva, you're impressive. So I just wanted to say, I think that tonight was very impactful, educational, and I feel like I've learned something. I've also, how else do I put it? I appreciate the diversity. There's some things I agree with, some things I don't, but I'm going to try and apply some things to my life that I've learned from the panel. And I just say thank you for the opportunity. It's my first time being on here, so I did enjoy it.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Paris. Let's say that's my sis, and I appreciate your voice and your sound and what you lend. Even when she lights up the comment section, she will come up with some questions that really make all the difference. And I thought her voice is necessary to be heard on this side. So while it's her first time on this side, it won't be her last. I'm just saying, just so she knows. So now that you're aware, so be prepared at any given time. And we got Pastor Sheila Ingram, the curator of this space, my auntie Bravo. She says, great show tonight. Bravo. I love it when auntie comes in and signs off. Lets me know I'm doing my job right, and I'm using the mentor skills that she has given to me to make her proud. So I appreciate that, and I have loved and enjoyed this myself. And of course, she is my girl, my sis, Coach Theo. Come on through and give your final thoughts and comments, and how can the people reach you on tonight?
So I'm gonna piggyback off of Lady Z. I love calling you Lady Z, but it really is about being intentional about what you're doing. So I will honestly say, when I made the decision to embark on becoming an entrepreneur and a coach and a consultant, it was because I wanted to share from my experience to help other women. So I always say, you'll hear me say, I'm here for the one. If I touch one person, I feel like I've done what God has told me I needed to do. Right. And so that would be one thing. The other thing is, Mr. Bloomfield, I'm still stuck on that question. So my parting thought would be for everyone, your homework is to go back to the point in the video where that question was asked and we responded, and make a list of what those responses are, right? Because I truly do think that question sparked some really good responses and comments that we all could go back and just revisit. And so you can find me on Instagram, Facebook at Theodora Carter 428. I'm on TikTok, but I don't play around on there too much, so I really don't. But I'm everywhere. Carter 428, and yeah.
I want to thank you, ladies, for joining our girls' chat tonight. Just having some open conversation and dialogue, adding to helping to build people up. And Eric, I want to thank you, of course, for chiming in and for giving us a male perspective, wrapping it up with a male perspective. How can the people reach you, Eric?
You can reach me at djelove2025 yahoo.com. Instagram, I am DJ Elove. Facebook should be Eric Swinton, SWINTON. But you go to Facebook because there's a lot of Eric Swintons. Just look for the logo Without Warning Radio in the background, or you'll see my face.
All right, well, those are good. Thank you, panel, for being here tonight. As we're ending and wrapping up this show on tonight, my final thoughts and comments is simply this. Can we have everything that we want again? Yes, women, we can. If for me, it's the season, like I said, of all or nothing, and nothing is not an option. But just consider the things that you have to give up, you should give up, and you would want to give up to get to your next. As long as you've hit the capacity of where you need to be, do not be afraid to let your ceiling now become your floor. Go for it all, because you are worth it all. So that's my thought, my final comment, my final share. But before we close the show, I do want to invite you tomorrow. If you need spiritual guidance, a word of enlightenment, encouragement, all that good stuff, go across the street to the Sheila Ingram Ministries channel at 11 a.m. and you will find the Women of Grace over there, which is none other than Pastor Sheila herself, my mom in real life, real time, Pastor Rosa, and also my auntie gangster, I call her. She is in the person of Reverend Jeannie. And those three women are over there sharing good word. Other than that, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this channel right here. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, I hope you hit it in a few moments on your way out, because I want to invite you to join us on Monday nights with Dr. Elaine, and I get the pleasure of co-hosting with her on at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are doing relationship talk, and it is a lot milder. Thursday nights is like Mondays on steroids, and we always come over here and have a good time. I want to make sure that you guys come back the month. Thank you for making it an amazing July. August is going to be phenomenal, because in August it is going to be all hot topics. It is all Thursday. It is After Dark with Dawn B, where we keep it tight. You see Theo shaking, because it goes down when it's after dark. Something always happens on Thursday nights at 8:30, when no matter what we're talking about, it turns left. Well, all of August we go start left, stay left, remain left, and end left. All hot topics. So make sure that you join in. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, hit me up and let me know. I'm here every Thursday night at 7 p.m. I am your host, Lady Dawn B, and it's always a pleasure to be in this space having great conversation. Now, I said that I was going to give away a book tonight, The Courage to Win, and I am going to give a copy to the first visitor that we had in the building, which was Mama Patsy. Was the first visitor that we had on tonight. So And it is right here, you guys. As you see, I'm not making it up. It's not my fault. If you came in and you didn't comment, I don't know that you're here. But you never know what you're going to get. You never know what will be given away. That's why it's important to come in and say hello. Let us know that you're here. So, Mama Patsy, I'm going to be getting with Zenja and Gregory to find out where I should send this to you at. And I pray that this book encourages you that no matter where you are at in life, that you continue to have the courage to win. Because as long as you're still here, there's still something that God has for you to do. Or whatever your moral compass is. Again, we agree with everybody's. We welcome everyone's thoughts, feelings, and opinions, whatever your moral compass is. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in with us on tonight. And see you all next Thursday. Theo says good night, all. And Pastor Shank says, oh boy, don't miss any of August, guys. I promise you, you're going to want to be right here. Hang tight 1 second as we wrap up the show. See you next week.
I'ma make the rest of my life like I'ma make the rest of my life like gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I'm dope without a need of a validation.